Is Tracy right when she says Sunak never talks about how he's actually going to tackle inflation?
Well, I've been speaking to the Rishi Sunak campaign over the course of last night, and they sent to me a 3-point plan that Rishi Sunak has. The first of which is to let the Bank of England do their thing when it comes to monetary policy, so that's interest rates being independent with the Bank of England. The second part of his plan is keeping the debt and deficit under control so that there's not too much excess revving up of the economy in that sense. And the third is supply-side reform, so that all of those supply-side drivers of inflation can be dealt with, although that does seem to be a longer-term ambition. So to the sense that he has a plan, there's the three elements to it. We haven't yet seen all of those individual bits of supply-side reform being spelled out, although we do know the broad direction in terms of his intention to keep debt and deficit under control. That being said, there was a moment last night that raised a few eyebrows when Kay Burley asked Rishi Sunak what he would do in terms of helping people through this winter. We know that energy bills are expected to be so much higher than they are now, and he said that you could look at his record and he would be willing to step in and spend money. Now, that seems to go against what he was saying in terms of keeping the debt and deficit under control if he is going to have an emergency spending package. Why would that be so different to an emergency tax cut package when it comes to stoking the drivers of inflation? That's a question that his campaign has yet to answer.
We're almost out of time. We are out of time. Just a quick one on Keir Starmer, which I want to throw in. He's been found guilty of breaching the MP's code of conduct over a plot of land that he sold, and getting personal gifts and all this sort of thing. 8 times, I think, in all of this. He said at the beginning of this investigation he was absolutely confident he would be cleared, and he hasn't been. If this had been Boris Johnson, he'd been calling for his resignation, wouldn't he?
I think that's probably a fair assessment. But, of course, Keir Starmer has cast himself as Mr. Rules. It seems that, at the very least, this shows his office organisation has not been up to scratch. What this is late declarations or failing to declare these donations in kind, or indeed money that has been achieved through that sale of that plot of land, over £100,000. It's interesting that this hasn't actually got to the top of the news bulletins elsewhere. I wonder, in a different political time, when we're not talking about the dire straits of the economy, the inflation crisis, the 5 consecutive quarters of negative growth that are predicted, potentially this would be a much bigger story.
Yeah.